In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Looking for whole food supplements for your ketogenic lifestyle? Then let me introduce you to Further Food. Go to furtherfood.com and you'll see that they source the highest quality ingredients on the planet. They have collagen peptides and my favorite, the gelatin powder to make those yummy gummies. And all of it is sourced from grass-fed, pasture-raised bovine collagen from Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. This is really high-quality collagen and gelatin. There's no hormones or antibiotics, it's non-GMO, and it's the most tasteless and easiest to use on the market. If you're not using collagen and gelatin, you need to be adding this to your ketogenic lifestyle. Collagen will help you curb your carb cravings. Again, head on over to furtherfood.com, enter the coupon code Jimmy at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order. Elevate your wellness. Further Food. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. If you're brand new to Jimmy Rants, pop on over to JimmyRants.com and you can see how the show works. We start off over on Instagram. That's how it works. Instagram Live specifically a couple of times a day. So go follow me on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man. That's LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage live in the content, just like all my Jimmy Rancers who are coming in right now. Thank you guys for being here today. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay. Hundreds of people watch it on replay on Instagram Live every single day. So thank you if you're watching this on replay. After 24 hours, they do take it away from Instagram, so you got to go over to YouTube after that to find all the past episodes. If you put in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, you will find the show. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcast as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is more of a philosophical one than I typically do here. I still got a ton of headlines to talk about, news stories that have come out that I definitely want to rant about. But this has been weighing on my heart lately, especially with all of the news stories I've been sharing about anti-keto information and oh, look what's happening with this vegan message over here. And oh, well, no, there's no one diet for everybody. And so you see all of these messages that are put out there. And it makes me ask the question of what we're going to talk about here today. Are we putting way too much emphasis on the means, things like diet, lifestyle choices, and other things, over the outcome? The desired outcome is to be healthier, to lose weight, to have all of this good stuff happen in our bodies. And it makes me wonder if in our advocacy for some nutritional plan, like for me and a lot of you guys, keto, and for the people that believe in a paleo diet, people that believe in a vegan diet, there seems to be such tribalism over the means. And to me, as someone who does believe in the concept of bioindividuality, I would think all of us that are in this space of being healthy ourselves and trying to help others find that same kind of healthiness in their own life, I would think we'd be more concerned about the health outcomes rather than how they got there. You guys feeling me here? Because I think sometimes we can get so beholden to some message, let's just say keto, for example, that we believe keto, and that kind of leads you down this path of, okay, if someone doesn't do keto, therefore they won't necessarily get the outcomes that I got. And that's just not true. I think there are many ways for people to find health. I do happen to think that there are certain things that are definitely a hard no for probably most people. Refined carbohydrates comes to mind. Trans fats come to mind, man-made trans fats. Really anything that wouldn't be considered real whole food comes to mind. And so people often say, well, you want everybody to do keto. I'm like, no, I want everybody to find the diet that will make them healthy. And if it happens to be a ketogenic diet, great. If it happens to be a vegan diet, great. If it happens to be more of a Mediterranean style diet, great. If it's paleo, great. Find what works for you. Those of you that have followed my work for many years, from day one of my work with Living La Vida Low Carb. Yes, I'm a low carb advocate. Yes, I'm now a keto advocate. I'm a best-selling author of various keto books. But I'm here to tell you, keto may not be what you need. Keto is merely the means to get to the end result outcome, and that is a change in your weight and your health. Can we coalesce around this message? Because here's what this does. It takes the onus off of, no, my diet's better than yours. We're going to butt heads. It takes all of that away if your goal is to see positive outcomes in your health, right? And so no longer do we say, no, veganism is better than keto. We say, okay, which is providing the best health outcomes? And if it's both, great. We need to celebrate people that do well on a means, a diet that's different than ours. And those people who get the means and get the end result, the outcome from doing any given means diet, they need to be mindful that if someone else does something that might be the antithesis of what they are, but they're getting outcomes that are similar to them, they need to celebrate those people. And so if you're a vegan and you're getting great health outcomes, and then you see someone who's eating a carnivore diet and they too are getting great health outcomes, one should not vilify the other simply because the means was different. The outcome was the same. The health markers that all got better was the same. So I think this could probably cut down on a lot of the drama that is the dieting world. Now, I know some people, they like to wallow in the drama. Get over yourself, people. We're so sick of you already. I know I just spoke for a whole bunch of people. I've always hated the so-called diet wars. It's like, I don't really give a rip how someone else eats. That's a personal choice. You decide to do it for the sake of your health, for the sake of your goals of losing weight, for the sake of your brain health, whatever your goal is of going on any given means to an end, diet, lifestyle, things that you do, your goal is the outcome. And so people are like, well, you want everybody to eat a ketogenic diet. I'm like, no, I want everybody to eat a diet and to do lifestyle changes that lower their insulin levels because we know that's healthy, that lower their inflammation levels because we know that's healthy, that keep their blood health markers in great spick and span check. That's healthy. And so regardless of the way you got there, we should be celebrating each other when we get the outcomes that we're looking for, which is what makes the kind of mocking and scorn and just downright ugliness that happens online in this battle over, well, my diet's better than yours. It becomes up being a pissing match at the end of the day. And that's sickening to me because at the end of the day, most people, they just want to do something that's going to give them the weight loss and the health changes that they're looking for. So for some, that's keto. For some, that's Mediterranean. For some, that's paleo. For some, just eating real whole foods will get them there. And we need to get off of looking at simply the means, the diet and the lifestyle changes, and fast forward, look into the future, look into the crystal ball, so to speak, of what's the outcomes that we're getting from that. And just like we mentioned yesterday with the story I talked about with that Ravana lady, the vegan who had to start adding meat back into her diet when she was not getting the outcome that she was expecting in her health. You make changes to the means. So for her, that meant adding in more animal-based foods, and now she's getting the outcome she's desiring, which is what made all of that vilification of her by her followers so frustrating to see. I felt so bad for her because the means was all that people were focused on. Oh, well, you didn't do it the right way, so therefore the outcome is invalid. The outcome is not invalid if you're seeing positivity happen in your weight and your health. That's why we're in this space. That's why all of us that are educators trying to communicate information to our followers, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you, the follower, find the best outcomes in your weight and your health. And if it means that you don't do it with a ketogenic diet, guess who's going to be your top advocate? That's right, Jimmy Moore. I'm going to celebrate you if you do it by any other means. There's good friends of mine who they eat more of a carb cycling type of diet. So they'll cycle in carbs and then they'll eat keto, and then they'll cycle in carbs and they'll eat keto. So they do this whole cyclical ketogenic thing, and they're seeing incredible outcomes in their health. I wish I could do that, but I can't. But they too recognize in me that my means, which is a constant ketosis type of diet, is giving me the health outcomes that I'm looking for. And I think if we put on this cap of looking at what is the outcome and what are we trying to accomplish here, then it takes away the judgment that tends to creep in this community. Because I don't know about you, but I'm kind of sick of it. And I've seen it, you guys, from the time I entered this community in 2005 was when I started blogging, 2006 first started podcasting. It was just such an ugly atmosphere of us versus them, low fat versus low carb, vegan versus keto. And it's just enough is enough. We don't need to put too much emphasis on that means anymore. Is the means important? You bet it is. Is the specific means, and if it goes outside of what you think is the right means for getting to the outcome of health, does that mean that we need to throw it out if it runs counter to what we personally do? Not a chance. We need to be inclusive. We need to embrace people. And really, at the end of the day, we all need to treat each other better. More love, more compassion, more respect. You will hear me share that early and often here on these Jimmy Rants. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, let's not get too hung up and put way too much emphasis on that means, the diet and the lifestyle, over what we're trying to accomplish with everybody, and that is to help them live a long and healthy and happy life. The outcome is health. Let's celebrate that, even if it runs counter to the means that we would use to get health. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here on today's episode of Jimmy Rants. Lots of people here today. Appreciate you guys. Sam says, Dr. Ken Berry mentions that maybe there's genetic backgrounds and that they matter. Oh, they certainly matter. I know from my genetic history, I have a strong family history of heart disease. And I know if I didn't eat in such a way that lowered inflammation and put some of those markers in check, that I would have a heart attack and die. Because that's exactly what's happened to most of the males in my direct family. Both grandfathers died in the early 50s. My dad had a heart attack at 48 and 50 and quintuple heart bypass surgery at 54. My brother Kevin had 3 heart attacks at 32 and died at 41. So I am supposed to be dying of a heart attack according to my family genetics. You can express that in a different way through the means that you implement. So for me, that's keto and some of the biohacks that I'm doing. But Dr. Berry's exactly right. Genetic tendencies are hard. And my mama passed on some insulin resistance genes to me pretty darn hard. She still struggles with her weight. My brother Kevin, before he died, struggled with weight. My sister Beverly struggles with weight. And I struggle with weight. And that can't be denied. I think sometimes we want to say, well, if you just go on X means diet, then Y outcome automatically happens. And I don't think that's necessarily always true. And we have to be mindful of that. Kiki says, my husband finally decided to go keto. His A1C is 11. I can't wait to see how this changes at his next doctor's appointment. 11 is high, Kiki, as you well know. I would not be surprised if it's under 6.5 at the next checkup. So I wish him well. Nancy said, very well said, focus needs to be on getting and staying healthy, not how you got there. And the problem is, Nancy, people have become so tribal, so territorial. And look, I'm the keto guy. People are like, you wrote Keto Clarity. Yeah, I wrote Keto Clarity, and I'm glad it's become a great resource for so many people to learn more about how to eat a low-carb, high-fat diet and get healthy from it. But I'm the first to admit that if someone gets health outcomes from anything but keto, I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them. I think the end result is get healthy. And for a lot of people, keto works. Other people, more of a paleo-style diet works. Other people, dare say, even a vegan diet for some people tends to work pretty well if they do it the right way. So I'm all about the outcome over the means. Kimberly says, every person has to do what works for them, and we need to celebrate their victories. That's right. Kimberly, you nailed my position today, so thank you for that. Kiki says, it's not only about the weight loss, but I want to feel better no matter what I weigh. And that's a great point. Thank you for that, Kiki, because I think sometimes people also put too much emphasis on the means over the outcome that they expect. And so what they expect as an outcome is just superb weight loss to the goals that they set, the arbitrary goal that they set. And so sometimes when people are so tribal about the means, their diet, and they see someone that does a different means with their diet, but they're not seeing the outcomes that person is expecting in their head regarding weight loss. Guys, the vegans are notorious for this. There are tons of YouTube videos out there mocking people like me and others that still have weight on our body despite being a ketogenic advocate. And so they make all of the outcome solely weight loss. And they say, okay, well, all the vegans, all of us in the plant-based world, not a single one of us has weight on our body of consequence. And so therefore, if you want to be skinny, and then by extension, they're saying skinny means healthy. You want to be skinny, healthy too, then you need to go vegan. And if you want to be fat and unhealthy, because they're, again, equating higher weight on the body automatically meaning that you're unhealthy, then go keto, go paleo, eat meat. You see how they kind of phrase this, you guys? And they're not really putting the emphasis on the right outcome, in my opinion. Maria says, Jimmy, thank you. This is exactly right. We want everybody to be healthy for their body and every step that gets them there. That's right. Grandma does keto. Clarity of purpose for each individual would help them out. See what I did there? I see what you did there. A little bit of keto clarity. I love it. Nancy, Virginia Beach, even within the keto community, some people have become so judgmental. Well, Nancy, now you know why Jimmy is addressing this today on Jimmy Rants. Because it's utterly disgusting to me that this kind of tribalism over the means, over the outcome, would be emphasized. Guys, don't be that way. We're seeing enough of that from the plant-based world where they're saying it's all about the means and screw the outcome if you get good outcomes from anything but plant-based. We don't need to be that way with keto. Everybody doesn't have to do a ketogenic diet to see great outcomes in their health. Will keto help just about anybody? You bet it will. But do they have to eat keto in order to get those outcomes? Not a chance. They don't. They just don't. And we've got to be okay with that and not vilify anyone that's getting great health markers. Behind you all the way. Thank you, Kiki. Charming Confessions, my way works for me, but I know it won't work for everyone. It really doesn't matter to me as long as I inspire someone to start making a change. And that in and of itself, thank you, Charming Confessions, is my philosophy. If my doing keto and showing that even in the midst of having some weight things that are stubborn as all get out, and I'm working on those things, you guys, even in the midst of that, I can show, hey, look, my HSCRP, which is a key inflammation marker, is 1.1. Under 2 is really good. Under 1 is optimal, but 1.1. And I show my blood sugar is under control. I see that triglycerides fall below 100. I see HDL going over 50. All of these health markers, A1C level 5.1, all of these health markers showing that good things are happening in the health. And the means by which I got there was keto. But I'm not saying that everybody needs to do keto, but if it encourages someone, oh my gosh, well, if they saw a change, maybe I can do a change too. Giving hope and inspiration to people that right now just don't give a crap is my goal over trying to change any vegan's mind about the way they're eating or trying to say that keto is the be-all end-all when it is clearly not. Tack Force Conceal. I need help. What kind of help do you need? That's a little vague. Are you kidnapped right now? You need help? What are you talking about? You need help. Ashton says we need to get past the weight loss issue, focus on optimal health by whatever means that works for us. That's for sure. Hello, peace, love, happy. Appreciate you being here. I hold value in that fact that I'm in a judgment-free zone. I'm a supporter, not a judger. Exactly. Charming Confessions, we could all stand to support people on their journey, regardless of the means, and cheer them on to the outcome. Urban Ketopia, very well said and completely agree. Thank you as always, Jimmy. You're welcome. And thank you for being here on Jimmy Rants. Sean says it's ugly in every arena these days. Keto isn't alone. People just bring their ugly to everything. Very sad. Well, Sean, we try to put a happier face on that here on Jimmy Rants because I don't put up with that kind of stuff. And thankfully, very rarely do I ever have to deal with somebody that is what I like to refer to as a turd ball here on Jimmy Rant. So a couple of times I've had to block some people, but not very often. Anna says, how do you deal with people personally attacking your food choices? I'm eating keto and breastfeeding, and I feel like I need to hide from the world. Well, Anna, thank you for sharing that. I don't feel like I have to justify my nutrition to anybody. I just live my life. And if they choose to berate me because I'm only eating an animal-based diet right now with this keto carnivore that I'm doing, if they choose to berate me, that's on them. That really has nothing at all to do with me. Live your life, be confident in what you're doing and why you're doing it, and let the turd balls, as I say, wallow in their whateverness because it's just not about you at all. I get it. We kind of take things personally on a very personal level. It's very hard not to, but in this case, I just encourage you, just live your life, be the example, and you'll probably outlive all those people anyway. Everything low carb and fasting was working, but it's not anymore. No weight loss anymore. Starting to feel sluggish all the time. So Tack Force Conceal. If you will write me an email, jimmy@llvlc.com. I am more than happy to help you. Maybe give me as much details as you possibly can, and we can help you out. And it could be that there's just some slight little shift that you need to do. So you got to send me your meals, what time you're eating, blood ketone levels, blood sugar, whatever information you have, and I'm happy to help you out. Keto Brett says, keto is technology, the application of scientific knowledge for the practical purposes, not any particular protocol or diet. Like any tech, it should evolve and iterate. And Brett, it will also be different from one individual to the next. I think sometimes, and I saw this yesterday on an Instagram post, somebody was talking about, well, if you have fat on your body, you don't need to be eating fat on your plate. And I chimed in something along the lines of, that's not exactly true. There's a lot of positiveness that comes from having fat on the plate. that helps you mobilize that fat on the body. And so it's always an education process. And there's some people that will do better with more protein in their diet if they're doing keto. There's some people that will do better with more fat in their diet. There will be some people that, like I said earlier, I've got that friend that can cycle in carbs every few days and it's no big deal to them. We all have to find that means to the end in our diet and our lifestyle choices that will give us the outcomes that we're desiring. And what I'm saying here today on Jimmy Rants is we need to emphasize more and celebrate more the outcomes rather than the means by which we got there. How do you feel about metformin for insulin-resistant people? So, Lugene, that's a general question, but I'll answer it real quick. I think if you're going to take a medication and you're insulin-resistant, that probably metformin's one of the better ones, but I think there's ways that you can get a lot of those same benefits from metformin without having to take a medication. I think berberine as a supplement can give you probably a lot of the same kind of benefits to your health that metformin would. Dude, you're positively glowing, says Meaty McBurger. It's all those McBurgers I'm eating. I Dream of Jeannie says, one of my friends lost 65 pounds as a keto vegan. She put the weight on because of being an unhealthy vegan. And so, Jeannie, that's something that's kind of controversial within the keto world right now, is these people that are doing more of kind of a ketotarian approach. A la my Keto Talk co-host, Dr. Will Cole, wrote a book called Ketotarian, which is a mostly plant-based vegetarian vegan style diet. He does advocate for adding in fish and eggs. And so people have been like, oh, well, plant-based has no business being a part of the ketogenic community. And I'm like, but what if somebody's getting good outcomes from that? Are we going to poo-poo people that want to eat that way for whatever their reasons and they're getting great outcomes from it? And like you're mentioning with your friend that did more of a traditional vegan diet and it wasn't working for them, but then they switched over to doing more of a ketogenic version, which I assume means maybe a few eggs and fish, maybe higher fat content with those vegetables and other plant-based foods. And now she's getting good outcomes. That's what I'm talking about here today. Let's stop emphasizing so heavily on the means. There's a lot of people, and I'm seeing this a lot in the carnivore world, you guys. There's a lot of people that say, well, if you just only eat meat, all of your woes will go away. And this is why I was so hesitant for so long to even try an all meat-based diet. It was some of the advocates early on, this was like a decade ago, where they were so hyper vigilant about it that if you dared have anything other than just meat, they lambasted you and made you look like a fool. And I'm going, okay, I don't want any part of a community that's so focused intently on the means that they forget about, well, what if I add in a little bit of green leafy vegetables? Am I going to die from that? No, I'm going to get great outcomes. So shouldn't you celebrate the outcome rather than, well, you didn't do it right because you didn't just eat meat? I'm even seeing that now with what I'm doing with keto carnivore, because I'm including animal-based foods, which includes dairy. Oh, you got to cut the dairy out or you're not doing it right. I'm like, go screw yourself, because I'm going to do this for me and the outcomes that I am seeing, really great outcomes from this. And so if the outcomes are happening, we need to celebrate the outcome, not bemoan that it wasn't done the right way with the means that you think should have happened. RL Blackbean, totally on board with you and this topic. We're all different and we have our own journey to health. That's right. Debbie says too many people put too much emphasis on the weight loss. Don't pay attention to the other benefits of keto. I finally got my type 1 doing keto. I don't know. What's an OH? Overweight husband? What's an OH? I'm trying hard to think what OH could mean. His bloods are almost normal. Hello, paleo pharmacist. Thanks for being here. Grandma does keto today. I'm 7 months seizure-free. Congratulations, Grandma. All pain-free. It's so huge. I've lost 75 pounds. I eat really high-fat keto carnivore, and I don't even care. And it's why we love you, Grandma. Yes, my email address, Jimmy, Jimmy, at LLV, as in Victor, LC.com. That stands for Livin' La Vida Low Carb, LLVLC.com. I'm sharing this because my husband is a paleo keto guy who reversed his prediabetes and high blood pressure. That's awesome. Depression and anxiety free almost since keto, says Debbie. That's right. Good job. Good job. Paleo pharmacist says we tend to discard people based on the differences versus trying to learn from one another. Oh, I could do a whole rant just on that topic. As a healthcare provider, even though I am carnivore myself, it is my commitment to help my patients be successful in their choices despite my own dietary choice. And this is probably why you're a great practitioner. This is the very thing that I wish more in your profession of people that are providing care for patients would latch onto. That it's not about any given protocol, but that it's about the health outcomes. And if it means that you put a patient on some kind of a protocol that's radically different from yours, then so be it, so long as they get the health outcomes that you want them to see. Keto and carbs, dude. Yes, if I had to cut out dairy, even though it doesn't mess with me, I couldn't. I'm going to try real soon to see if I can back away from the dairy and stick with just meat. I'm getting there. And remember, I've only been doing this less than 3 months, this keto carnivore. So for me, it's been great to have the dairy in there, but I'm wondering how much greater it could be if I go to just the meat. So we'll see. X-Teen 1965, thank you. I really needed this today. You're very welcome. 200 plus seems grossly difficult daily. I don't know what that means. 200 plus what? You need to write to me, TAC Force Conceal. I'd be happy to help you. If you're referring to dietary fat, I don't think you necessarily need to put a number on it, but write to me, Jimmy at LLVLC.com. Guys, the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is, are we emphasizing way too much on the means by which we try to pursue health outcomes? And those means include diet. Those means include lifestyle factors. Are we putting too much emphasis on keto and not enough on what it is that we're trying to do with keto, and that is get people healthier? Are we putting way too much emphasis on all of those things that could be the answer towards health outcomes, but we're not really celebrating when people do get health outcomes regardless of the means? We need to stop that. I think we need to flip the script, guys. We need to put the emphasis almost exclusively on the outcome and then try various means to get there. If it means a paleo diet and getting people off of the junk food and getting them on real whole foods, then so be it. If from there you need to tweak it a little bit more and maybe take out the grains and the sugars, then you do that. If after that, that's still not getting the outcomes, okay, you tweak it a little bit more to make it more ketogenic. You will find the diet and the means and the lifestyle things that will give you the outcomes that you want, but you got to tinker and test and find what works for you. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage in the content live. We do a couple of these every single day over on Instagram Live. So go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man. That's LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all my Jimmy Rantsers here today. Amy says, I try to focus on my response to food and the actions that I take every day. Good job. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. We put all the past episodes up in archived form on YouTube. If you type in a keyword Jimmy Rants, you will find the show. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. JimmyRants.com is the website. So until next time, we'll see you then.